Hi, I'm Mike. Today is the farm to table dinner on the ranch. In a few hours, yes, it's past midnight, 75 guests will begin to arrive and enjoy a catered dinner sourced mostly from right here. A part of that dinner is going to be the viewing of a special video, which you guys get to see first, right here on Our Wyoming Life. So a year ago this weekend, we held our very first farm to table dinner. It was a completely stressful, high anxiety, horrible time leading up to it. And when we got there, it went by so fast that we wish we could do it again. So we did, this year, today, as a matter of fact. And coming up on Tuesday, I'm gonna bring you a video of all the happenings from today. One of the biggest parts of our dinner last year was the debuting of a brand new episode of Our Wyoming Life. I honestly don't remember which episode it was, but it must have been a good one, because when we started selling tickets for this year's dinner, one of the questions that we were asked is if we were going to debut another video. The answer actually turned out to be no. We're going to debut that video here for you. The attendees of the dinner, they'll get to see it. It'll just be a little bit later. I'm sure I'm going to catch some slack for it. Probably, well, I guess a few of the dinner guests are subscribers. In fact, I know they are. But I also wanted to bring you into the fold. You guys are just as important. After all, it's with your help that we've gotten to this point. I had a little trouble coming up with a video to do for the farm to table dinner. Part of the reason is because a lot of the people who are at the farm to table dinner aren't subscribers. So we wanted to do something that would give them the gist of what we do and why we do it. So without further ado, I would like to play for you an advanced screening of basically a clip show, but it's our roundup on Our Wyoming Life. Have you ever just had an idea? An idea that seems silly, that doesn't make any sense. An idea that your friends may even consider you crazy for even considering. I've had a lot of those ideas in my life. In fact, I spent a majority of my life just trying to reach people. I worked in radio for a lot of it, and of course when you work in radio you do reach a lot of people, but aside from the fart jokes and the 98.9 The Rock brings you another 40 solid minutes of today's biggest rock hits, you're not really conveying a message. Then I met Erin, and we came to this ranch. Well, then I spent years trying to communicate with cows. Now, cows are great listeners, and that might be because they know that I control the food, but still there's no message, no deep thought. Eventually, Erin, together with Erin and I and her mom Rita and the cows and calves and every little part of this ranch, we found a new message. One that we've been proud to spread through Facebook, YouTube, podcasts, pretty much anywhere we can get somebody to listen. That message is simple. Agriculture is important. It's important enough for everybody to think about, at least occasionally. Whether you're a meatitarian, which really, I don't think it's a word, but I kind of like it, or the strictest vegetarian or a flexitarian or whatever you may be, I'll tell you a little secret. Agriculture still matters. It shouldn't be a secret. But over the years, it's kind of been put on the back burner. How many people have heard this? My food comes from the grocery store, so I don't have to worry about the farmer or the rancher. I'd like to think that everyone knows that that's a joke, but somehow I doubt it. So we decided to do our thing, put ourselves out there. 580 days ago, we decided that if we reach one single person and make them think about where their steak or their ears of corn or their grapes come from, then we would have succeeded. And if we could show the family and the people behind their food and make them care about that, well, that's just icing on the cake. 1 year ago today, we sat here in the shop at last year's farm to table dinner, having just gained our 3,000th subscriber. Today, we have over 40,000. That's a lot of people who care, from farmers and ranchers to people who have never left the big city. And I'm very proud of the impact that we've made. And I'm most of all proud of every single member of our community, because that's what we become.
So subscribe to our channel. It may be only January, but there's a lot coming up. Calving, branding, garden season starts soon. That means farmers market and more videos along the way. So subscribe and join us in our Wyoming life.
Those words started it all for us. And since that day, Erin and I have invited you to join us in our Wyoming life 225 times.
Hey there, I'm Mike, and this is our Wyoming life.
It's finally here. Hi, I'm Erin, and this is our Wyoming life.
Today I have the opportunity to take you around the ranch and introduce you to some of my friends and coworkers. See, just like you, I'm not friends with every animal I work with around here. And I'm sure some of your coworkers you just tolerate.
He likes it my way. Write it down on my clothes.
Now, not all goes according to plan. Some calves don't want to come out of the chute, and some protest being in there in the first place, as Sam found out very quickly.
Dude, are you all right?
But he's fine. Say hi, Mitch. As luck would have it, I only own one T-post pounder, so Mitch will get the honor of pounding around 100 T-posts that need to get put into the ground for this project.
And before you know it, there will be snow on the ground. Actually, it's snowing right now.
She is cleared to leave the chute, which she does in a hurry and proceeds to take out a camera. My phone, actually. Well, that's one camera down. And once again proving that anything that can happen will happen around cows.
Okay, here we go. Look forward, Kenzie.
Are we ready?
Bambi wants in.
Are you the good parent?
I'm the sucker. Erin tells me that all the
I'm the
time.
mean one.
Yeah, and Kenzie will tell me that you're the mean one.
Calf, heifer, heiferette, springer, yearling, stalker, bull, bullock, maverick, steer, free martin, pulled, beef, and dairy. These are some of the sacred words of ranching.
I don't know what's going to happen with the peacock. I have watched a lot of crazy YouTube videos this last week where birds have gotten 3D legs and they've been well taken care of and seem to have a good quality of life after that.
This is where we start to feel pretty surreal once again.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology.
We make the decision to move her and her calf inside the barn. Not only getting the calf inside and onto some clean, dry bedding, but also closing her in with him and forcing some bonding between the two. Stay away from the chickens, and we'll get along just fine. When we talk about how smart a fox is, it reminds me of a story my dad told me when I was a kid. You see, a young cowboy is out checking and repairing a fence, when all of a sudden he realizes that he dropped his hammer somewhere. And you can't get much fencing done without a hammer, so he frantically goes back down the fence line looking for it. If he doesn't get this fence today, then the boss is going to chew his butt, and he might even lose his job, the one he's been waiting for years to get. So he works his way back down the fence line. And it's right there that he sees a fox walking towards him, and in her mouth is his hammer. The fox walks up, drops the hammer, and the young cowboy looks up at the sky and he says, "It's a miracle." And the fox says, "Not really. Your name is written right on the handle." Make sure they're able to get up and walk on their own, and we'll also tag their ears with a numbered ear tag. That number will be associated with them for their entire time here on the ranch. It allows us to keep track of them, their health, their weight, who their mom is.
The only casualty? The remote control for the drone, which was run over by the gator.
Did I break it?
You never know what you're gonna find. I'll never get tired of watching that. Once we can even start to get her off balance, she's gonna take a step away, and I end up the one tipped over. Maybe that's the whole point. Maybe it's not us cow tipping. Maybe it's cows people tipping. And I promised him that no matter what, I would try my hardest to make sure that this ranch would be around for years and years, for our kids and their kids, and that I promised him that I wouldn't fail him.
With this, I can pick out a calf laying in the grass from over a half a mile away, ascertain if the calf's mom is around, and see if the calf is moving or down.
Have they been hunted to extinction in order to grace barroom walls and line the shelves of Cabela's? Or are they just wonderful at hide and seek, only emerging for their favorite drink, whiskey? It's true. The only way to catch a jackalope is by enticing it with its beverage of choice. The only problem is the bait keeps disappearing. They're sneaky little creatures.
And they grow feathers in 3 or 4 months. And then they start work. And then when they're baby chicks, they like to explore and run with the fellow chicks and their mother.
So we've laughed, we've cried, and we've told a story. Our story that has changed the way at least one person looks at agriculture. Maybe 2. Doing this has even changed how we look at the ranch and the entire world. All of us involved, from our subscribers to everybody sitting in this room and everybody who put this whole thing together, want to thank you for coming out and supporting the ranch, our local farmers market, and keeping that hope alive. That hope that we all do care where our food comes from. The journey for us is far from over, and you'll get sick of us inviting you to join us in our Wyoming life. I'm a little sick of saying it, but I'm not going to stop. Subscribe, come along with us 3 times per week as we explore the ranch life and escape the ordinary. I'll see you again on Tuesday. Until then, have a great week. And thanks for joining us in our Wyoming Life.